Tonight on News 13.
Federal unemployment benefits have expired over the weekend, and now it's affecting people in our area. I'll have that story.
The celebration has just begun as the first woman elected as district attorney was sworn in here at the courthouse today. I'll have that story.
The Pottsville Chief of Police is retiring today, and I'll tell you what his big plans are coming up.
This is News 13 Now.
Happy New Year's Eve, everybody, and welcome to News 13 Now. I'm Matthew Petrillo. One man is dead after he crashed his car into the southbound lanes of Interstate 81 this afternoon. Police were called to the fatal accident on Interstate 81 around noon today. An unidentified man was driving south when he apparently went off the road and rolled over, coming to a stop on its roof in the left lane. The man was thrown from his car during the rollover and pronounced dead at the scene by the Schuylkill County Deputy Coroner. Traffic was shut down for a brief time. Roads should be now back to normal. Two brothers living in Klein Township, Schuylkill County will be spending the holiday behind bars tonight after police found dozens of marijuana plants in their home. Police say they raided 31 James Street in Caleres last week, finding 35 marijuana plants growing inside. The brothers are 46-year-old Brian Lauer and 44-year-old Jude Lauer. They face multiple drug charges, including manufacturing a controlled substance, possession of a paraphernalia, and other related charges. Both are in jail after not coming up with $50,000 bail cash each. They await a preliminary hearing scheduled for next week. Police wouldn't comment, saying it's an ongoing investigation. Officials in Schuylkill County are celebrating the new year a little early today. County officials swore in the first woman elected district attorney at the Schuylkill County Courthouse, where Christina Papa reports.
The Bible.
It's a day for the history books.
I, Christine A. Holman.
I, Christine A. Holman,
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
Congratulations.
thank you.
3 newly elected Schuylkill County officials were sworn in during a special ceremony held at the courthouse today.
I'm just thrilled that my day has finally come to fruition and that I can share it with all my family, friends, supporters.
District Attorney Christine Holman is officially the first woman elected as District Attorney for Schuylkill County to take office.
I started my campaign early February, worked hard every day, knocking on doors, contacting as many people as I could.
Holman won the November 5th election, but the race was so close her opponent pushed for a recount.
The recount election litigation was very stressful.
With the support of family,
I'm so happy for my wife, Christine. She's worked very, very hard.
Holman pushed through.
I'm proud. I know I have a lot of work to do.
Now that she has officially taken office,
And I do have a message for criminals out there. Beware.
her main goal, keep crime out of Schuylkill County.
We are going to be working diligently to fight crime, drugs, blight, you name it.
Christina Papa, News 13, Pottsville.
Pottsville Mayor John Riley is stepping down from his post after serving the city for 13 years. But he's not the only veteran in City Hall who's retiring. Today's also the last day for Pottsville Police Chief Joseph Merton. He's often shy of cameras, but today he spoke exclusively to Samantha Galvez.
It's going to be a dramatic change, not coming here every day.
After a combined 42 years of service to the Pottsville Police Department, Chief Joseph Merton is finally stepping down.
It is a bittersweet day. For most of my adult life, I've been coming here every day.
And while Merton only became Chief Police in 2003, he says one of the most important things he's learned in his entire career is the change that took place from when he became a policeman until today.
And that big change was when I became a policeman, my major responsibilities were to enforce the crimes code and the vehicle code. Today, major responsibilities are being a counselor, being a mental health delegate, working with school children.
He calls it an honor and a privilege to have served Pottsville for so long. I asked the chief if there was one thing he wanted to do before he retired, and he said nothing. After over 40 years of service to the police force, he said he's pretty much covered it all.
Since I've been here, I was a patrolman, I was a detective, I was a captain, and I became chief. I was a volunteer fireman, I was a volunteer EMT, so I had a pretty full career.
Currently, Merton is a licensed pastor for the United Methodist Church, and he says what's next is more involvement with the church.
I'm on a part-time status, and I'm looking to go full-time with the church and expand my ministry.
And while he's excited for this next phase in life, he says that what he'll miss the most are his coworkers.
I think I'm going to enjoy the freedom of it, but I'm going to miss the people around me. I'm going to miss the officers that I've worked with over the years.
Samantha Galvez, News 13, Pottsville.
More than 1 million out-of-work Americans will be ringing in the new year with a lot more uncertainty about their fiscal future. Jobless benefits expired over the weekend for 1.3 million people. The long-term federal financial aid payments that kick in after state insurance payments run out, and that means some people in our area will continue to struggle to make ends meet until they find work. One of those people looking for work is Kristen Strunk.
Searching for employment, but not having much luck.
Kristen says the federal unemployment benefits was a lifesaver for her.
I'm a single mother with a son, and I'm trying to make ends meet. I work a part-time job now, and it was just very devastating.
Kristen came to CareerLink, desperately looking for work after her benefits dried up over the weekend. That happened because Congress failed to reach a year-end agreement to maintain it. Congressional Democrats say they'll press to return to the issue once they reconvene January 3rd, while Republicans say the program is too expensive and cutting the unemployed from their benefits will more strongly motivate them to find jobs. But Sharon Angelo of CareerLink says cutting people from their benefits will make finding a job more of a challenge.
There is the work search requirement that anyone who is on unemployment has to conduct a work search. So they've been searching and they have been looking for jobs through their whole claim and their extended benefits.
Career Services offers its clients a range of resources like computers and fax machines. But for people like Kristen, the cut to unemployment benefits couldn't have come at a worse time, especially during the holidays.
There's no work out there for people to get work. I mean, you can come to CareerLink and you try and find work, and they're helpful as they can be here, but if the jobs aren't there, then you just can't find work. It's very difficult. With the federal program currently not funded, people who are unemployed in Pennsylvania can still receive state benefits for up to 26 weeks. The federal program allowed benefits for up to 99 weeks. Still ahead on News 13 now, the new year means making some wishful resolutions tonight. But first,
Coming up, I'll tell you how businesses all over Hazleton are getting ready for the big countdown.
You're watching News 13 now, local and loving it. You're watching News 13 now on SSPTV.
well, the countdown is on. 2014 is just hours away, and as Samantha Galvez tells us, sales will be soaring for local business owners in Hazleton.
So good!
New Year's Eve, it screams a good time for most of us.
Nice bar. We like to hang out here. You know, a lot of good people, and food's great. Food's fantastic. I'm sure I'll be here.
It's not only a good time for those of us who celebrate, but also for businesses all throughout Hazleton.
We do very well for New Year's Eve, very well. It's not one of our biggest nights, but it's a good night for us.
And while you might think that bars and restaurants make out the best for New Year's celebrations, they're not the only ones doing a little extra for the big countdown.
Of course, right now we are anticipating all of the New Year's Eve celebrations. And sometimes New Year's Eve is a last-minute holiday, so we're ready.
Many local businesses have been preparing for the upcoming holiday, making sure you have just what you need to ring in the new year.
In addition to all of the food items that we do have, we have New Year's Eve, the noisemakers and hats, anything you would need for your celebration. We even have beads for the ladies and tiaras.
Even the little ones have a lot to look forward to.
I'm sad to stay up until midnight.
So for the kids, we have our NA non-alcoholic beverages, Martinelli cider, so they can also join in the festivities.
And after you've filled up on pork and sauerkraut, you can head on over to the 4th Street Pub, where business is sure to be booming.
We get busier after the ball drops. When the ball drops, that's when everybody seems to show up.
But if you're able to head out before the ball drops, the pub will have complimentary champagne for all of their guests to enjoy.
It's a good crowd. Everybody has a good time. And that's why we're here.
We are ready to take care of Hazleton for all of your party needs.
Samantha Galvez, News 13, Hazleton.
Getting in shape, it's one of the top New Year's resolutions for people every year. So Christina Papa stopped by a local gym where she found some people getting a head start to a healthier, happier New Year.
Kate's not waiting for the new year. Today, she's in the gym focused on staying healthy.
Eat right, be healthy. But that's an everyday thing. That's just not a New Year's resolution.
But for some, creating better habits and living a healthier lifestyle will be a New Year's resolution. In fact, an estimated 45% of Americans make New Year's resolutions.
They want to do better for themselves, and maybe this is the only way that they could stick with them.
But nearly 25% of people won't even make it past the first week.
January is a very important month because that's when most people start to think about it, but we encourage good health all year round and offer programs that support that.
Hazleton YMCA will see a 5 to 10% growth in gym membership this month.
The important thing is to continue the membership. You know, everybody starts New Year off very excited, but our goal is to help you maintain that interest in your health.
No matter how big or small they are, only about 8% of people actually achieve their resolution goals.
I think eating right is also a good one. Being kind to people, breaking bad habits. Sure.
And while many people are creating better habits, Pathway to Recovery sees this time of the year as a way to break the habit.
And definitely quitting smoking is going to make an improvement in their health.
Pathway to Recovery in Hazleton recently restarted a free program to help smokers quit the habit, thanks to a boost in state funding.
We offer smoking cessation counseling, and we can also provide the patch or the nicotine, the Nicorette lozenges for free.
Eileen Panzarella says this program is available all year long, so people don't have to wait for the new year. They can start making changes today. Christina Papa, News 13, Hazleton.
Time now for News 13 weather.
Tonight's weather shot, we're local and loving it in St. Clair, where it looks like a snowy-filled day. People are not out on the streets. Hopefully the snow doesn't cause too much problems over the weekend. Checking the National Weather Service radar for today, for New Year's Eve, it doesn't look like much of a party weather. It will be cloudy and windy with a low around 13 degrees, so if you're going to see a ball drop outside, be sure to bundle up. New Year's Day, it will be cloudy with a chance of snow showers in the evening, but Wednesday night, that snow will likely come down a lot heavier, a low around 19 degrees. Thursday, prepare for a snowy and windy day, a high of just 25 degrees. Thursday night, snowy and cloudy, a low around 6. As Kathy would say, you might want to turn on your Cuddle Buddy alert for that one. Friday, it gets a little better, partly sunny, but the high only 13 degrees. Crank up that heat for Friday night, a low hovering around 0. Saturday will be a partly sunny, high around 21 degrees, then some flurries, a low around 14. Now heading over to the Schuylkill County tonight for New Year's Eve, it doesn't look like much better than Hazleton, but it will be cloudy, a low around 14 degrees. New Year's Day cloudy with a high around 26. Wednesday night, a slight chance of snow showers with a low around 19 degrees. Thursday, prepare for a snowy and windy day, a high of just 28 degrees. Thursday night, snowy and cloudy with a low around 6. Friday gets a little better, partly sunny, the high only 14 degrees. Friday night, a low hovering around 1 degrees. Saturday will be partly sunny, a high around 23. Then some flurries, a low around 14. Plenty more news and information headed your way on News 13. Our countdown of 2013's top 10 stories continues, plus Fred Barletta on deck with News 13 Sports. That and much more news when the 13 crew comes right back.
This is News 13 Sports.
Well, it isn't often that the girls and boys at MMI play on the exact same date. Usually one plays on a Monday and then a Tuesday or a Thursday and a Friday. Even rarer is when both of them can get a win on the same day. But that's what's been happening lately, particularly with the boys. Joe Flanagan has them playing well. Last night, MMI came up with a double-dip win. Let's start on the girls' side of things first. Was a pretty interesting game for a while, but then MMI just pulled away from Columbia Montour Votech, and they doubled them up, 42-20. Maria Corrado led a balanced scoring attack. Even though they scored 42 points and won big, nobody hit double digits. As we said, pretty balanced attack. Meanwhile, down in the Schuylkill League, two Schuylkill League teams playing in what was a non-division game. Marion comes away with the win, and I'm telling you, Paul Brudo's club starting to shape up as somebody to be taken very seriously as we go through the season, as they come away with a big road win at Mount Carmel. And you can see there, Savannah Krasinski, she's just a sophomore. She led the way with 18 points. That's the thing. There's a lot of youngsters on that Phillies team, so could be a very, very interesting year. We'll have to keep an eye on them and see what's happening. Now, on the boys' side of things, a little bit tougher game, but a nice win for the Preppers of MMI. Take a look. Corey Rogers, 24 points. They were down in the second half. and they rally, came back and get a big win over Lackawanna Trail. As we said, Joe Flanagan's boys are really starting to play some nice basketball. Down in the Schuylkill League, North Schuylkill edges Tamaqua, 2-point win for the Spartans there over the Blue Raiders. Now, as far as schedules tonight, as you would imagine, it's New Year's Eve, so you don't have an awful lot going on, but they are finishing up the Coaches vs. Cancer tournament up in Scranton, and the Crestwood Comets are in that one. Mark Atherton's club will be taking on Scranton Prep. Now, as far as what's going on the pro level, there was one game to tell you about last night. It was a shootout for the Flyers. They beat Vancouver 4-3. As far as what's going on here on this last day of 2013, Rangers and Islanders on the road. Philly also will be having their traveling suitcases in hand as they head out to Calgary. In the NBA, Brooklyn will be at San Antonio. In the American Hockey League, game actually just underway. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pens hosting Syracuse, so they want to get it out and through and have everybody ready to watch the ball come down tonight, and that's not a bad idea. Be safe and have a good time tonight as we ring in the new year.
More tragedy in our countdown of top stories of 2013. It was a horrific, heartbreaking Mother's Day as a Pottsville woman watched as her husband, 4 children, and sister lost their lives when they were trapped in their burning home. Today, the city tries to move on, but the mother has moved west coast. And the tragic fire remains the second biggest story of this year. Just minutes before Mother's Day ended Sunday night, a fire ripped through this home on the 200 block of Pierce Street. 2 adults and 4 children lost their lives, and at least 5 firefighters were injured. Today, all that remains is the home's skeleton and torched debris scattered in front of it.
I could smell smoke in my house, and that fast we could see the lights from the fire truck coming up Pierce Street. So we came out, and the sky was so full of the thick smoke, the gray smoke.
It took fire crews more than an hour to put out the flames and control the situation.
Everybody was crying and hugging one another last night.
The fire originated in the kitchen on the 2nd floor and quickly climbed to the 3rd floor, where the 6 victims were sleeping. Among them include 30-year-old Eric Brown, his 4 children, whose ages ranged from 2 through 8, and Christina Thomas, the sister of the children's mother. When the fire first broke, the mother of the children was across the street doing laundry. Neighbors say when she smelled the smoke, she ran outside yelling for help. Fire crews responded to the scene in less than 4 minutes after getting the call, but her family was already trapped on the 3rd floor.
The back of the building was on fire, completely engulfed in flames, and a lot of smoke coming out the front, and within 5 minutes, the whole building was engulfed.
One neighbor, who didn't want to show her face or have her name revealed, works at a daycare center where 2 of the children would go to. She said the mother's son was caring and the daughter was into fashion.
I can always remember her coming in, and she had her cowboy boots on and always had a smile on her face.
The fire chief says this is the worst scene he's been at in his 32 years on this job. He says his crews have yet to find any smoke alarms in the building, and if they had, they might have been able to save some of the victims.
Some of them made it out of the bedroom toward the stairs, so they did wake up at some point.
The mother who lost her 4 children is Kelly Brown, who is currently staying at the house of her husband's relatives. Since then, a memorial has been made at a nearby playground where the children used to play. Volunteers also painted the equipment.
I just hope that people who knew the children and kids who played with the children are able to come up to the memorial site and sit and look at the stuff here and think of the children, and they're able to plant a flower in the memorial site in remembrance of all of them.
It's just a wonderful thing for everybody to come together. Makes me proud to be part of Schuylkill County. There's many tragedies that have taken place, especially this year, and the community has come together in so many different ways, and this is actually their playground forever.
Meanwhile, the home on Pierce Street still sits in ruins, but the city finally plans to demolish it sometime in early 2014. Matthew Petrillo, News 13, Pottsville.